that his son was politicized by the Justice Department's prosecution, then why has he not fired one employee of the Justice Department? Because if he believes that there's corruption, if he believes that they're unfairly targeting individuals, he has the authority to fire those prosecutors, yet he hasn't done that.
The gun case is over in the eyes of the court. Judge Mary Ellen Noriega has terminated any further proceedings against Hunter, a move that we were expecting.
Buckle up, folks, because this might be one of the biggest bombshells that we've seen yet. So President Joe Biden, yes, the guy who's been skating around scandals for years, has now pardoned his own son, Hunter Biden. I know. The same Hunter Biden whose laptop has kicked off this firestorm of controversy that the Democrats desperately tried to sweep under the rug. And let me tell you guys, this move has completely backfired spectacularly. Even the New York Times says, yes, the liberal Bible itself admits that the DOJ under Hunter Biden has been politicized. Speechless yet? Well, you should be. And if not, I have more bombshell information to share with you guys in today's video. And it's not just Hunter Biden. In fact, the lawyers of the scandal go very deep. NYC Mayor Eric Adams, who's been targeted for daring to speak out about the illegal migrant crisis situation in New York, is now dealing with his own DOJ witch hunt. In fact, the administration is so drunk on power that they even take out they use their own tactics on their own people. It's crazy. And it's all finally starting to unravel. This is going to end up being a big win for Donald Trump's campaign. Team Trump, MAGA supporters are hailing this to be a long-term victory. Now, the hypocrisy of the Democrats is on full display here, guys. And I think it's about time that we call it out for what it is. It's a disaster of epic proportions. Watch.
What you were talking about, the Hunter Biden. Out of all of this, there's almost a level of irony to this all. I just want to bring out something. I'm going to read the front page of the New York Times. Okay? Let me find that sentence. President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump now agree on one thing. The Biden Justice Department has been politicized. Does that sound familiar? Rest my case.
I'd love to expand on that.
Wow. Did New York City Mayor Eric Adams literally just turn his back, betray, and abandon the Biden administration? I mean, that's exactly what it looks like to me, guys.
You said in the Wall Street Journal the other day that you do believe that you were targeted because of your speaking up about migrants. Or I guess I want to ask, why do you think you were targeted? I believe that the Southern District has said that this investigation into your campaign began before you were mayor. It began in 2021, I believe they said. So, what would they be targeting? Or were they just chasing a lead and found something?
Listen, in all my life, I never had to have a level of discipline that I have right now. Nothing is more harmful and hurtful to have leaks come out, the assault on your character, and you have to sit back. There was this photo of Muhammad Ali when he was like, he had the arrows in him, he was like that. Do you know how much I want to respond to this stuff? I just want to respond to all of this that has unfolded for the last couple of months. And every day before I do off topics, my lawyer said, don't you do it. Because, I'm just a fighter. I believe in fighting for my rights. And this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, of the onslaught of this. And I have to remain silent. And I can't answer and defend myself. That's the hardest thing. But life is kind. There's going to be an opportunity one day to really dig into all that has unfolded. But you cannot ignore the fact, because I know I read a little fast, President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump now agree on one thing. The Biden Justice Department has been politicized. Now, you know, if this is in the New York Times, it has to be true.
I don't think anyone, including the president, knew exactly how this would transpire up until today. We have been on this story, as Carol said, for many months. We learned from some of our sources that shortly after Hunter Biden was convicted in June on the gun charges, that there were discussions between the president and his aides about the possibility of pardoning his son, although he remained in public stating that that option was off the table. He said that multiple times. The White House, even as early as this week, had indicated that there would be no pardon.
President Biden is expected to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. The president's son was convicted on all 3 felony charges in June related to the purchase of a revolver in 2018 when prosecutors argued Hunter lied on a mandatory gun purchase form by saying he was not illegally using or addicted to drugs.
No one is above the law unless you're Hunter Biden. And to be honest, not many of us are surprised, but it's hilarious that we predicted this months ago. We expected the president to wait until January before doing this, though. I guess he wanted to play it safe and announce it early, which shows you that these people just don't care about these crimes when it involves their own. But if it was an ordinary citizen or even Donald J. Trump, well, they would say that justice should be served. Which kind of reminds me, what happened to that bag of cocaine that was found in the White House? I guess we can all forget about that, right? Now, even though the area was supposedly open to hundreds of people, it's kind of weird that there's no security camera footage that showed exactly what happened. And remember that Hunter Biden pled guilty to his crimes. It's on the DOJ's website. They called it a 4-year scheme where Hunter Biden chose not to pay $1.4 million in self-assessed federal taxes from 2016 to 2019. And when he did file his 2018 returns, he lied about business deductions. The guy was facing 17 years in prison for what he did. Now, before we get any further, I have an important question. Do you think that we would get away with an offense like this? Would President Biden pardon any single one of us if we committed crimes like this? Now, I want to remind you that the president himself gave his word that he would not pardon his son, Hunter Biden. He said it on multiple occasions.
With regard to the question regarding the family, I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know. And I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
But of course, none of us believed him. It was such a transparent lie that we just all saw through it. And it's exactly why the White House has to keep answering a very simple question. Is the president planning on pardoning his son? A question that White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre had to answer multiple times. Watch.
Second one, will the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Okay. Going back to the first question of the briefing, I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Somebody care to check on her pants right now because they might be on fire. Now, this move from the president hasn't made his party happy, but it's not like he hasn't been giving them the finger with what he's done throughout Kamala Harris' campaign, right? But now I want to go over what the president said through a White House press release. He admitted that from day one that he took office, he vowed that he wouldn't interfere with the DOJ and their decisions, even though Hunter was, in his words, selectively and unfairly prosecuted. He says that the charges against Hunter Biden were instigated by his political opponents in Congress, arguing that no reasonable person who looks at the facts of the case would reach any other conclusion other than Hunter Biden was being singled out, saying that enough is enough. So he did what we all expected. But it's amazing to read that he expects the American people to understand his point of view, saying that he hopes that we understand how a father and a president would come to this decision. So, in a nutshell, he lied to the entire country together with the White House. And since his son was facing prison time, he felt that it was unfair fair and that it's only proper that Hunter Biden was pardoned, which has led critics to call him out for this. So here's what former Republican Representative Joe Walsh had to say about it. Watch.
What do you make of all of this? What is likely to be the response on Capitol Hill to this breaking news?
Good to be with you. See, I told you so. They're all like that. So the next time any of us complain about anything Trump does, this pardon is just deflating. For those of us who have been out there for a few years now yelling about what a unique threat Donald Trump is, for Joe Biden to do something like this, Trump, nobody's above the law, we've been screaming. Well, Joe Biden just made clear his son Hunter is above the law. Donald Trump lies every time he opens his mouth, we've been screaming. Joe Biden repeatedly lied about this. The politicization of the justice system. Donald Trump and his people have been screaming. Well, that's exactly what Biden said here.
Joe, is this a politics of purity? I mean, we had Donald Trump pardon Sheriff Joe Arpaio during his term, and there wasn't a lot of hue and cry about that. And this is a father who saw his first wife killed, his daughter killed in a car crash, his two young sons survive. One goes on to have real difficulties with addiction. Another dies because of cancer. This is a family that's really troubled. I mean, yes, he said he wasn't going to do this, but did anyone ever believe that that was the case? I mean, I would have put good money on this happening. Like, are many people going to be surprised that a father who is also the president would do this for a son?
I don't know that people will be surprised because you're right. Joe Biden repeatedly said he wouldn't do this. So he repeatedly lied. But this just furthers the cynicism that people have about politics. And that cynicism strengthens Trump because Trump can just say, I'm not a unique threat. Everybody does this. If I do something for my kid, my son-in-law, whatever, look, Joe Biden does the same thing. I get it, but this was a selfish move by Biden, which politically only strengthens Trump. It's just deflating.
And he's right. For everything Democrats have said about Trump, their criticisms of him, it's the same or worse when it comes to their own party. President Joe Biden has just gone on to make history as the first president of the United States to pardon his own son. And it's interesting to think what these Democrats will say when President-elect pardons those involved in J6. Because if they say that Trump's overstepping his power, Trump can just point to the last president in office. So President Joe Biden has destroyed the Democratic narrative of justice. With it, the entire Democratic Party has now fallen to shame. Well, what do you guys think? Was it fair for him to do this?
Is there really a credibility issue here given now this announcement?
First of all, one of the things that the president always believes is to be truthful to the American people. That is something that he always truly believes. He came to this decision this weekend, so let's be very clear about that. He says it himself.
How soon could the next round of, pardons could come?
I don't have a timeline for you. As you know, this usually happens towards the end, and so the president is going through that process. I'm not going to get ahead of him, but you can expect more announcements to come.
Oh, and this is beyond infuriating. I mean, it's just a complete and utter disgrace. So first of all, Joe Biden and his administration, they have the nerve to call Hunter Biden a victim of justice by the Department of Justice. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, let's get real about the facts. August 11, 2023, the DOJ itself, under Joe Biden's presidency, released a statement. And who's running the show over there? Oh, that's right. Attorney General Merrick Garland, Biden's handpicked Attorney General AG. Okay, so Garland announced the appointment of U.S. Attorney David Weiss as special counsel to investigate and prosecute Hunter Biden. So if there's selective prosecution happening here, it's on Biden's watch by his own DOJ with his own people, right? So this whole narrative of Hunter being unfairly targeted is completely absolute bull, okay? Now, let's talk about this so-called executive clemency, right? So Biden just handed Hunter a pardon that doesn't just cover the cases that he's already entangled with right now, right? Like his federal gun and tax charges. Oh no, the pardon goes way past that. In fact, this pardon, it's covering like a decade-long period from January 1st, 2014 to December 1st, 2024. So including cases that never even made it to trial. I mean, this isn't about justice. This is like a strategic preventative measure to shield Biden or Hunter Biden from future accountability, especially with all of the heat around influence peddling accusations. Biden isn't just protecting his son. He's protecting himself and his administration from what could come out if the full truth ever gets to see the light of day. And what about the rest of us? While Hunter gets his golden parachute, innocent Americans are being absolutely crushed under the weight of Merrick Garland's DOJ. Let's talk about Paulette Harlow. She's a 76-year-old woman who's she peacefully, 76-year-old, like how much damage could she do, right? A 76-year-old woman who peacefully stood outside of a clinic and is now sitting in the Alexandria Detention Center. She's being prosecuted under an obscure statute, dragging this old senior citizen through the freaking system and left to rot despite her medical ailments, right? And this is what Biden's justice system looks like. A grandmother in jail for standing up for her beliefs. Meanwhile, Biden's son gets a clean slate for who knows how many dirty dealings, right? Oh, and let's not forget about the disgusting disparity here, guys. Remember when Melania Trump had her closet raided? There were memes going around X talking about how Melania Trump's underwears and drawers were getting sniffed by the freaking FBI and the search squad, right? So these people were all under Merrick Garland's DOJ, were they not? Yeah, they rifled through her private belongings without a second thought. But Hunter, he gets a full pardon and the label of being a victim. People see the difference, Joe. They see the blatant double standard here. And it's a slap in the face of every American, regardless of political party. I mean, this isn't just about corruption. This is a complete travesty against justice. Joe Biden has weaponized the DOJ to go after ordinary Americans and shield his own family. This isn't about protecting the rule of law. This is about protecting the Bidens and the Bidens only. Oh, come on. Are we really surprised that Hunter Biden, the president's son, is getting this kind of red carpet treatment? I mean, Hunter Biden, the same guy who blatantly ignored a subpoena during an investigation, was allowed to pull off a Capitol Hill stunt with no consequences. And then his dad, President Joe Biden, he doesn't just pardon him with a little bit. Oh, no. This is a full-on erasure of 10 years of trouble. Now, Hunter could even testify against his father without worrying about incriminating himself. Did you guys ever think about that? David Friedman, the former ambassador to Israel, he called it out. This is outrageous. And let's not kid ourselves, guys. Regular, everyday Americans would never, ever get this kind of sweetheart deal. But did we think it was, it would stop there? Of course not, because Joe Biden told us it would. Now, why would we actually fall for that? I mean, that's on us. Well, I take that back. We didn't really fall for that. We already knew what was up. But there's a large part of America that actually believed him when he lied to us, saying that, that he would let the law take care of Hunter. Meanwhile, Biden's off in Angola today. Why Angola, of all places? Rich Edison, he explained that Angola's oil rich for sure, but it's also dealing with some of the worst food insecurity on the planet. And now China swooping in, building connections just like they've done all over Africa. But here's the kicker, guys. Who's been doing these deals with China? Whose hands might be dirty? Are starting to ring a bell, starting to connect the dots here, guys? I mean, we're looking at you, Joe Biden. Remember when Biden told us to watch me? Oh, we're watching, all right, very closely. And wait, it doesn't even stop there, guys. Now there's buzz about more pardons. Is Jim Biden, the president's brother, next in line? People are already asking these questions. I mean, this ties all the way back to 2014 when Hunter Biden joined the board of Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company. And let's be clear, Hunter didn't have the qualifications to be in that position. That whole situation has fueled years of questions. And now James Comer and his committee are saying that this is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Comer is not letting up either. In fact, he's gearing up for what's coming next. And let's talk about the precedent that Joe Biden could be setting here. He could literally be pulling like a Gerald Ford here. You know what I'm saying? the guy that pardoned, that particular pardon covered crimes that had not even been charged yet. That's probably where they came up with this plan from. Biden could easily do the same thing for his brother, for James Biden, wipe the slate clean before anything even hits the courtroom. Is this where we're headed? I think so. James Comer, he's ready for it. Jim Comer, but the rest of us, man. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, definitely hit the like button for the video. I totally appreciate you. Make sure to share this video. Check out this video that's coming up here next and our playlist section down below here. We're staying on top of this, and I got a lot more news to drop on you guys. Stay close.
Any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well, is there?
I just said no.
The president's not going to pardon
And
his
one
son.
more.
It's no. It's still no.
Will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Oh, that's rich, right? So let me break it down for you guys, because the hypocrisy here is absolutely mind-blowing. So we got White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre casually dodging cameras while trying to spin President Joe Biden's latest scandal during an off-camera gaggle on Air Force One here, guys. So yeah, you heard that right, off camera, because God forbid the public actually gets a good look at the nonsense that's coming out of the administration's mouth himself, right? So the hot topic obviously here is Biden's jaw-dropping decision to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. Now, let's not forget the headline here, guys. Hunter was supposed to be sentenced this month, December 12th to be exact, on federal gun and tax charges. Serious stuff, right? Most people would have been in jail for that, right? Charges that could have easily landed him with a possible prison sentence, right? But nope, not when daddy's in the Oval Office. Instead of facing the consequences like a man or like any other American would, Hunter gets this sweeping pardon, a total free pass, wiping out any chance of accountability. And let's just call it what it is. It's a complete reversal by Joe Biden, the president of the United States, the same guy who's been preaching about justice, fairness, and how nobody's above the law, right? Well, guess what, guys? That clearly does not apply if your last name is Biden. And where's Karine Jean-Pierre in all this, right? Well, you already know what's up, right? Hiding behind these vague statements and dodging all these tough questions like her life depends on it. No on-camera explanations, no real questions, just spin and deflection. Because let's face it, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat this level of blatant favoritism. And it's not just Hunter Biden, guys. Think about it. This is about Joe Biden betraying the trust of the American people. He swore he would uphold justice, and instead he's just using his power to shield his own son from consequences. And if this doesn't piss you off, guys, then you're just not paying attention. Oh, and it gets worse, because there's even hints that more people are going to get a free pass. Now, I guess the president will say that Hunter can use all the help he can get as he's been sober for 4 years, which might not be the case for Vice President Kamala Harris. In some recently released footage, the VP is looking a little drunk here. Now, I covered this in a previous video where you can judge for yourself if you think that she's had a drink or two. But as always, appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much for hitting the like button and subscribing. Check out this video coming up here next or our playlist down below, and we'll see you guys on the next one.